I was stopped at the entrance of my building because there was a robbery or something. These detectives came out of nowhere and kind of, cornered us all.
They said, "Are you robbing this cab?" We said, "Excuse us?" They said, "Are you robbing this cab?"
And the officer said, "Get the fuck out of the car before I rip you out." And then he just proceeded and grab him and pull him out of the car.
At which point a detective car pulled up with its siren and told me to get up against the wall.
I mean, we were upset and kind of embarrassed at the same time.
It's a very scary situation. You don't know what's going to happen if you don't comply.
And the only thing I remember telling him is I don't want to go to jail. I didn't do anything and I don't want to go to jail.
If you know that you're being stopped because you are a man of color or you are a person of color, then that also makes you feel violated. You're like, why me?
If that's how I'm dealt with being an attorney, what does that mean is happening to the 500,000 folks who don't have the kind of access I have? What's going on in the darkness of the streets in Harlem and the South Bronx to young people every day?
I was just about to hit y'all up like, "Hey guys, I'm downstairs." Everything. Oh man. My name is France Jerome. I'm from the Bronx, New York. I am an after-school program coordinator. My father is a New York City detective. I knew my father was a cop, so I inherently trusted every cop. First time I got stopped, I had to be about 11 or 12. I was with my younger cousin, Darrell. Whomever was being chased ran past me and my cousin, and then a cop comes from behind and stops us. I remember the footsteps of the officers circling around us and asking us questions. I remember my heart beating 1,000 miles a minute. When I had kind of put my position on the ground in front of police officers and I compared it to TV, and I was like, "Oh, I'm the bad guy. Oh." And then I began to feel ashamed.
Racial profiling is the use of racial or ethnic appearance by police to decide who to stop or question or frisk. Not only does it not make us safer, it actually makes us less safe. It takes the eye of the police off of what's important in detecting crime or bad acts. What's really important is behavior.
She approves.
She's hungry.
Yeah.
My name is Aisha Jordan. I'm originally from Amherst, Massachusetts, and I'm married to France Jerome. Got married in August 2010. Yeah, 6 months. The incident with my wedding planner was me in the passenger seat, France in the driver's seat, and our wedding planner, named Jenna Lynn, was in the back seat. We had stopped at a red light, and they pulled us over. They immediately got out of the van and surrounded the car, one cop at each window where there was a person. So
the officers at my fiance's window and at the wedding planner's window had their hands on their firearms.
He repeatedly told us that you weren't pulled over for nothing. You weren't pulled over for nothing. I know you think you were pulled over for nothing. Okay, well, you have an obstruction of view because you have something hanging from your rear view mirror. And it was like my tassel from graduating in 2009. And I was like, really? It was very intimidating. But at the same time, I was angry that there was no reason for this. And I knew there was no reason for it.
When people have the feeling that they are targeted by law enforcement, it corrodes and destroys communication between the community and the police who are supposed to be serving them. And communication of information is the lifeblood of what makes law enforcement successful.
My name is Gregory Norman, and I was born and raised in Harlem, New York. We were definitely profiled, and it never stopped, actually. I remember we all showing a lady our bus passes, and she let us in, and these detectives came out of nowhere and kind of, cornered us all and was like, "Y'all just hopped the train." So, you know, we're like, "No, we didn't. We didn't have to train." You know, ask the lady right there, and they were like, "We don't have to ask the lady. We're not here for that." We went down for you know, 24 hours to go to central booking, where they looked at it and we showed them the bus pass and they dismissed it. My friend caught pneumonia from being in the cells, and you know, it was just unnecessary.
But it's a problem if that encounter with police is not demographically and geographically dispersed. If it's always happening with respect to one population in a particular place, then that population gets classed in a particular way. So that's the construction of the young black man as criminal.
You know, you have city college kids that walk down the neighborhood I was raised in every single day, every day, you know, and I have yet to hear about one of them being stopped and frisked. But yet we are, you know, meaning African Americans. So it's definitely sending a message, you know, be afraid. We need to install this fear in you, and that's our job.
The directions that folks are given on how to deal with police is similar to how you're supposed to deal with like a rabid dog. Imagine what it would be like to literally walk from one place to another with the fear of a rabid dog coming out of nowhere. And then you have a slightly closer understanding of what it means to be a black male in urban sprawl. It's the most dominated you could really feel standing on 2 feet. It's having your hands on the wall, having somebody patting you up and down, another person surveilling and watching it and documenting it. That feeling just fills me with the same anger. I hope no one else has to go through that situation the same way I went through it. Being able to think about it the same way I thought about it, because it stays with you. Again, not scarred, but still angry.
If you're walking down the street and you see a police officer, you know, stopping somebody, you're going to ask yourself, did he do something wrong? Was there a crime, or did the police officer sort of think that they were committing a crime? That strategy of justification has a particular cost. And one of the costs is, what if it turns out he did nothing? Right? This is happening in public. That person is publicly marked as a wrongdoer.
I've never sold drugs, I've never shot a gun, I've never done anything like that in my life. But yet when I get pulled over, or have been pulled over, it's a fear that comes over me. And you know, and it is embarrassing. I mean, you can be standing on the corner and get pulled over, and a bunch of people in the corner, and after you know, the cop drive off, if you have to walk in front of the same people that witness you be pulled over, I mean, you feel a certain way, you feel funny. You feel, you know, violated, you know, you feel weak.
There's a great gap between what people experience on the street and what the law says. The Supreme Court will come up with a pronouncement and a rule of law and a rationale, and it may never, ever mention race or any impact on any particular racial or ethnic group. But it's the elephant in the room. Everybody knows it's there.
I guess what I would like to do is sort of take the values that underlie the Fourth Amendment, this idea is that police behavior needs to be reasonable, the values that underlie the 14th Amendment, this demand for equality for purposes of assuring people that they are citizens with rights to participate and with rights to be treated with dignity and with rights to live in safe communities.
We have a standard that says reasonable suspicion, factual, articulable, particularized, but at the same time the court sends the message, cut it the way that the police see it.
I asked France, I said, if an apartment ever opened up in our friend's neighborhood, would you move in? He was like, I don't know, maybe. And I said, no. And it wasn't because the crime in the area, it's because of the cops. To constantly, every time you go home, to be watched, to be stopped. I can't be in that kind of environment. Even times where I'll be sitting at home waiting for France, and it might take him a long time, there's always that element that, oh, he could have got stopped by the cops. He could have got taken in by the cops, you know. He could have gotten killed by the cops.
Communities want law enforcement, they want public safety, they want police attention. but they're not wrong to want an appropriate type of police attention.
There's no possible way that aggressive police work can stop crime. When aggressive police work creates situations in the community that lean folks toward crime. James Baldwin stops crime. Shakespeare stops crime. Young people learning about their situation stops crime. I myself put 12 young people who were marginalized out of high school, already out of high school when I came in, through high school, and helped them graduate. 2 of them are becoming police officers. That stops crime.
It's funny because I actually kind of want to be a cop. Police officers held to a higher standard, and growing up, they didn't meet that. You know, they didn't. I mean, it clearly says to serve and protect. And through my experience, I'm not saying all cops are bad. That's definitely not the case. But through my experience, that hasn't been the case. It's about me, you know, coming back to my old neighborhood or a neighborhood similar to mine and being that difference, whether it's just one group or one person. You know, just doing what cops are supposed to do.